Developments in the polity. The Inspector General of Police, Kaide Betokun, says no vigilante group will be used for the November 11 governorship elections in Imo State. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting in Owerri, the state capital, the IGP says no vigilante groups have no assigned roles in an election. TVC News Principal reports.
Seated at this hall are leaders of different political parties, traditional rulers, religious leaders, heads of security agencies, leaders of thought, and the leadership of the electoral umpire in the states. They are here for a stakeholders meeting with the Inspector General of Police to ensure peaceful election on November 11 governorship poll in the states. For the IGP, all arrangements have been made for proper policing of the election and urge politicians to play to the rules.
In the last few days, we have seen the presence of security personnel everywhere. And that is just to give you a clue to what you are going to see as the election gets closer.
Speakers took turns to express their worries and suggest ways to have a peaceful election.
That the rank and file of the police should not be seen moving with guns from booth to booth. No armed personnel carrier should be seen moving from village to village, from unit to unit. We will have the best of elections.
We want you most respectfully to give a standing order to your men to please face the rules of engagement and not be an appendage of the government official and government authority.
So all you need to do, sir, is to stick to the ethics of your work. Nobody has the right to tell you who to change.
With assurances from the Nigerian police, if followed to the latter, the November off-cycle governorship election in Imo State will be adjudged to be free, fair and peaceful. Prince Ruba, TVC News, Owerri.
The FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, is assuring Nigerians that he is focused on achieving the 8-point agenda of renewed hope set by President Bola Tinubu, and he is not deterred by distractions or threatened by wrong accusations. Wike urges Nigerians to continue to support the president in ensuring a better Nigeria. Mayor Mohammed reports.
The emergence of Nyesom Wike as the FCT Minister came as a surprise to many citizens across the country. But judging from his antecedent, most citizens and FCT residents were certain things were not going to be business as usual, and he has not disappointed. It has come with accusations over some of his actions and utterances.
Shall we take the national anthem?
This visit by the Niger Delta leaders is to express overwhelming support for the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. They urge him to remain focused in the midst of controversies that might divert him and continue his development plans for the FCT. The Rivers political crisis is another issue where they seek Mr. Wike's intervention with the hope that they can be amicably settled.
And we are here not at the prompting of anybody, but we felt that certain statements and truths have to be told. And we're here to make sure that even the minister himself will sleep well, knowing that his people are with him.
We should know that Barrister Wike is not a political orphan from the Niger Delta. He has a very strong socio-political base. So we take very serious exception to the call for the minister's sack and to the blackmail on the president with denial of electoral political support in faraway 2027.
On his part, the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, cautions those who have gone to town reading ethnic connotations to the disagreement between him and Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. But he's not distracted by the situation and is focused on achieving his goals. He calls for unity among various ethnic groups in the Niger Delta, as nothing will be achieved in an atmosphere of disunity.
No one ethnic group will claim they are responsible for social person to be. It's not correct. It took the energy, resources, and all other people to make sure things happen. That's what I can say, and for me, anybody who knows me not too well, what I will never take is threat.
Maria Mohammed, TVC News, Abuja.
Organized labor has threatened to grind economic activities to a halt nationwide from Wednesday over the recent attack on President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, some journalists and other workers in Imo State. At a joint press briefing in Abuja, the NLC and TUC listed a 4-point demand, which both labor centers say must be met to avert industrial action. TVC News' Jackie Adisa reports.
Organized labor is back to base to re-strategize after a failed attempt to stage a peaceful protest in Imo State. NLC and TUC accused the Imo State government and the State Police Command of brutalizing the Congress president.
He was stripped of his dignity as a human being and as a president of this Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC. He was also stripped of his personal items, including the phones, money, and other electronic gadgets. His vehicle was smashed and tires ripped off.
Both labor centers want the police commissioner in the state, Hamed Barde, the area commander and a governor's aide, Nwaneri Chinaza, prosecuted.
Other workers and journalists subjected to his inhuman treatment by the police, and the hope Uzodima's group be treated by the states and all the properties lost be restored immediately.
They also want an immediate and unbiased, in-depth professional medical examination of Joe Ajaero in view of the bodily injury allegedly meted on him. NLC and TUC threaten nationwide labor action from Wednesday if these demands are not met.
We further resolve that in the event the government fail to comply with any or all the conditions above stated, NLC, TUC, and their affiliates will no longer guarantee industrial peace and harmony in Nigeria, beginning Wednesday, 8th of November 2023.
NLC renews commitment to fighting the cause of workers in the state, as it says labor matters that led to the planned protest must be addressed. Joke Edsa, TVC News, Abuja.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with our guest of the day, who is a policy development and advocacy expert. He's also the founder and CEO of TAF Africa, Jake Epele. Stay with us.
Experience information and entertainment like never before as TVC Breakfast takes your weekends to a whole new level. Introducing TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, your ultimate source of thrilling sports updates, insightful political analysis, and captivating entertainment news. Stay in the know with what's trending, catch up with the latest in sports, and immerse yourself in the latest buzz from the world of music and movies. Your weekends are no longer just days off, but moments packed with knowledge, excitement, and enjoyment. TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, only on TVC News.
Business lives on the fast track of numbers. Business is a strange world where low numbers mean something different, and its currency are speed and time. Finding the open doors of Main Street is not just good business, it's the start of the business. Join us every weekend on Business Week.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
I need students, but I need teachers.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything. If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, No one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Committee Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Welcome back to Politics Tonight, and thank you so much for staying with us. So tonight we're having another conversation centered on pushing for electoral integrity in Nigeria, and there seems to be an ongoing debate about a single universal definition of electoral integrity. But if to go by the definition given by Kofi Annan Foundation 2012, it's an election that is professional, impartial, and transparent in its preparation and administration throughout the electoral cycle. And November 11 is here for us to see or realize if we're almost there as a country. So joining me tonight for this conversation is CEO of TAF Africa. He's also a policy development and advocacy expert, Jake Epele. Dr. Jake, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so sorry the mix-up. I had a delayed flight, so I'm here.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you for joining us this evening. So the first round of off-season elections after the 2023 polls is just a week away. How will you describe the tempo ahead of the governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states?
Well, unfortunately, there's been unnecessary heat-ups, especially in Kogi and Imo State. A little bit of us the same in Bayelsa. And I think these are very unnecessary disturbances and some fear of insecurity. But I think we need to look beyond that, and everyone should be on guard, not only to protect our democracy and our democratic values, but to reinstill confidence in all of us and push hard to ensure that everyone participates in this forthcoming election. It's very important. It's the election that is coming on the heels of all that we've been through. And so it's very important that everyone participates and be part of the electoral process. No matter what the issues are, I think at the end of the day, Nigerians and the citizens have a way of resolving their issues and ensuring that we protect not only the values of democracy, but also protect the country, knowing fully well that democracy is far more better than any other form of government. So I believe, and I'm using this opportunity to call on all citizens to, move ahead. Let's know that we have only one country, and this country called Nigeria, and that if we must invest in quality leadership, the ballot paper is the way to make that investment.
So all eyes will be on INEC for a better outing this time. How will you describe its preparations for these elections?
I think, INEC have learned our lessons. We've had a very useful meeting and robust discussion with INEC chairman and INEC commissioners. They have briefed civil society on their preparedness, and I think they've learned from some of the lapses, especially logistic lapses, and I think this time they'll be better prepared. Remember that every time there's a smaller election, around the state in particular, INEC comes up top. So I want to believe that we will get the same thing this time around, you know.
Right. So since 2015, technology has helped consolidate our democracy by ensuring transparency and fairness in our elections. But one of the contentious issues in this 2023 elections is failure of INEC to upload results on IREF. It had promised to do that this time. What are your expectations?
I think also that also came up in some of our meetings. There is no doubt that technology is man-made and technology can fail from time to time. But I think, again, they have created a much more robust system, especially with the comprehensive dashboard that they have launched. You know, there's no. I am strongly convinced that they will do a better job than what we've had in the past. And I know that a lot of Nigerians would say that, well, we have come again, that we made INEC look so good, and at the end of the day, they didn't meet their expectations. Well, they are human errors, you know, and sometimes people mean well, even though they act the other way or the opposite. But I believe that they have learned their lesson. And that's why I am a firm believer, and I've always been at the forefront in the clarion call for electoral reforms. There's a need to look at some of the existing laws and see where those laws can be repealed and replaced with better set of laws and clauses, knowing fully well that there are some of them that actually needs to be repealed and replaced with better clauses and provisions, knowing what we have seen in the course of this past election. So there's a need to look at some of the laws. Some of them are looking more like a draconian clauses, and with, so to speak, according to politicians, lacunas. We need to get rid of those things and have electoral clauses and that will deliver on the dividends of democracy.
All right, Dr. Pele, but with this latest ruling by the court that IREF cannot be substituted for polling units, how should the electorate and candidates manage their expectations with this?
Again, there is no perfect system, even though we all work hard to achieve a near perfection. I think the framers of the laws around IREF and those who established it, we were part of the process, you know. There's a need to properly interrogate the system to ensure that it meets with the current reality. There's a need to know what is workable and what is not workable, and what is realizable, and what we can be adapted to fit in our own. I've always called for adaptive technology, and that's technology that is adaptive to our culture, our environment, our system, and our people, you know. So whatever fancy technology or any technological breakthrough that we're pursuing, that technological breakthrough should be adaptive to our environment, our culture, our people, and its workability. I think this is very, very important if we must succeed.
I mean, so just like I said earlier, I mean, INEC has continued to leverage on technology for credible conduct of elections in this country. But what do you think INEC should do to ensure effective utilization of beavers and other tools during the elections? Dr. Pele, did you get my question?
Yeah, that technology, the beavers are not the problem.
Okay. Dr. Pele?
You know, yes.
All right. Please go ahead. We lost you for a minute. Please go ahead. Dr. Pele, if you can hear me.
I'm sorry about that.
All right.
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
All right. So just like I asked.
Go ahead, Dijimoke, I can hear you.
All right. So just like I said, INEC has continued to leverage on technology for credible conduct of elections in this country. But what do you think INEC should do to ensure effective utilization of beavers and other tools during this election?
Like I said, there's nothing wrong. I had the privilege of following through from the design of beavers to the test run and every process of beavers. Beavers is one system, technological system, that if we follow exactly what those who thought about the idea, the innovativeness of that technology, it will stamp out absolutely the issue of electoral rigging, or rigging the election. It will take care of it, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with the beaver. Even what INEC has right now is good enough. There is no problem with it. Yeah, there are one or two glitches, which is a term that has come to stay. But there is nothing wrong with it. It is the people that is the problem. The people that operate it. And those that would, ignore following the instructions and the process and what is expected of that technology. It is a fantastic technology that has come to stay. And if we follow it accurately and as it is established, we will get the result, the expected result. There is really nothing wrong with it. And this concept of believing that, we were supposed to, maybe not upload results and all that, that's not accurate, So let me not go beyond your question. The truth is, the beavers are effective, is efficient, and can deliver on accurate and credible electoral results.
All right. So doctor, let me get this. When you say beavers is not the problem, but the people operating it, are you saying training and more training is not the answer?
Not at all. Technology is ever evolving. Technology is ever evolving. A few months ago, I had iPhone 14. By 22nd of September, there was iPhone 15. When iPhone 15 was released, it came with its problem. It was overheating. And instantly, Apple did an update that took care of that problem. Every technology has an update component. The same thing is applicable to our app. We have an eyewitness election observation app. We have updated it to accommodate the current trends and realities in delivering our expected outcome. So every technology is designed to have that update component. And that is also applicable to the beavers. Beavers has its update. And those updates takes care of some of the errors and issues that ordinarily could pose a problem. So again, I can tell you here, there's nothing wrong with beavers. And if we allow beavers to be part of the electoral process, we will have a much more credible electoral outcome.
So what more do you think INEC needs to do to ensure the integrity of the elections in these three states? Talking about Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states.
Well, one, don't
Dr. Pele.
They should not meddle with the process, you know. Yes, I'm here. They should not meddle with the process. That's one. Number two, be there on time, because part of in the cost of delivering credible has always been the logistical issue. Okay, so if they are there on time to let those that process, we will have a seamless process that will give us the expected result. So logistics needs to be taken care of. Communication issues needs to be taken care of. Making sure that they deliver the electoral resources, what is needed, you know, on time is absolutely necessary. Ensure that the politicians will not come in between the actual result of the outcome of the election. You know, ensure that those who are the returning officers are allowed to announce the result as at when due.
All right. So we'll get back to some of the very critical issues you've raised, but let's quickly go into some of the concerns raised by the electoral umpire. One is security concerns ahead of the elections. What approach do you think should be adopted to check this?
Please come back with that question again.
I want us to talk about some of the concerns that have been raised by INEC, one of which is security concerns ahead of this election. What approach do you think should be adopted to check this?
Well, the issue of security is saddled with security agents. You know, there's a need to ensure that those who are trained on electoral security are deployed. And take, for instance, there was an issue we had with the chairman. Not necessarily an issue, a clarification with the chairman. Was chairman to ensure, for instance, we were told that oftentimes in the morning of the actual election day, before they are deployed. And we have taken time to explain to them, we have taken time to explain to them that that should on time. The officers need to be deployed on time. A day before. I think INEC is introducing something very fantastic. Okay. We were told that some of the officers that are going to be involved in the election are going to be quartered near their polling unit. Okay. I think the security operative should also do this. They can easily move to their location and ensure that they are there on time to protect the people. Because oftentimes the problem is when INEC officials so you find a situation where they are not able to start their work at the polling unit. So all of these things must be taken care of and ensure that INEC meets the demands of the electorate. And then the responsibility of the electorate too, to behave and to ensure and to be patient for those responsible to administer the needed resources.
So President Tinubu has also appealed to candidates and the electorate to ensure free and fair polls. But does it appear like they will heed this advice?
Oh, yes. I mean, he's the president and commander-in-chief. If he gives instructions, that instruction should be obeyed, no matter who likes it or not, you know, as long as it's constitutional. And I think that will be the case as much as possible. That will be the case. And I think INEC and those who are administering the election has that instruction, and I believe it will be carried out to the letter, including the politicians. You know, everyone should do the needful so that we can have a credible election.
Dr. Pele, let's go on a quick break. I've been speaking with a policy development and advocacy expert. He's also the founder and CEO of South Africa, J.K. Pele. And tonight we're talking about the common governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states, and the push for electoral integrity in Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Lagos is the most visited state in Africa as the 5th largest economy on the continent. Covering the state and its government is no mere feat, it's a busy beat. We go beyond the curtain of tapes to traveling far into the deep.
I want to thank the Lagos State government for the healthcare facility.
To bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
We tell you stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Laborland, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Laborland, I am sure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Welcome back to Politics Tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. Dr. Jake Epele has been speaking with us tonight on the coming governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi states, and the push for electoral integrity. He's a policy development and advocacy expert. He's also the founder and CEO of TAF Africa. Dr. Jake, thank you for staying with us. Now let's talk about another major challenge facing our electoral process, which is voter turnout. And we know how critical this is for election credibility and integrity. This has become so low in our elections. What are your expectations this time? Dr. Pele, did you get my question?
Yeah, you're talking about voter turnout, right?
Absolutely.
Well, in every electoral process, voter party cannot be ruled out. You know, whether it's in America or in the UK, there's always a case of voter apathy. And oftentimes, it's as a result of lack better when the process lacks adequate preparation, or when people feel aggrieved that their expectations are not carried out in the process. But my clarion call to Nigerians is simply that we cannot ignore the process. You cannot refuse to carry out your right, you know, to vote just because you're not too comfortable with one thing or the other. We cannot leave the opportunities for people, the very people that we say, look, we need to make sure that they don't hold on to power, you know. So it's important that everyone should participate in this forthcoming off-cycle election. It is absolutely necessary, you know, that we take part in the process and correct the very things that we are complaining about. I've always said that there's a saying that you don't necessarily complain about what you permit. I think that's the right phrase. You don't complain about what you permit. You know, so for those people, including myself, who are, you know, not too comfortable with the process and all that, election can be an opportunity to correct and bring in the right people that we want to lead us. If we abandon it, the wrong people will take the mantle of leadership.
Yeah, but what do you think, Dr. Pele, what do you think can be done to get more voters out on election day?
Voter education, voter education, voter education. You know, the critical people that, for instance, my community, that have not really been carried along, we have made effort to go on TV to ensure that we sensitize them, to let them know that, you know, I'm so sorry, someone just walked in. Yeah, to make them know that, you know, it is their right. It is their right to vote. Not only to vote, it's also their right to be voted for. You know, so we will continue to do that. So voter education is very, very important. Strategic voter education is most important. And thank God for institutions like yours and several other media houses that are giving this election adequate coverage, adequate publicity. That needs to happen. My organization had spoken to INEC, and we've reached out to them. We do have a national radio program that we have told INEC to give us whatever publicity material, whether it's in disability, security, election management. We will run it on our shows at no cost at all to INEC. You know, so it requires all hands on deck, all hands on deck. And I also want to use this opportunity. You know, your station have always stood for democracy. You know, I think you also need to help in any way we can, because we don't allow this lethargic spirit to grab our democratic process, and then we go back in time. We shouldn't, you know. So voter education is important, you know. Training of the electoral, those who are going to manage the elections are very, very, very important. The security, training of security personnel is also very important, you know. Education of the process is absolutely important. You know, if we do all of this and continue to sensitize the people, we can nip the issue of voter apathy in the board.
All right. So another major challenge, Dr. Pele, is vote buying. How can this be checked?
Well, vote buying happens when, number one, we have corrupt politicians. Number two, you have also corrupt citizens, you know, because it's not only the politicians who are offering the money to buy their votes. There's also the cooperation of those who are selling the votes, you know. So these two individuals must come to the knowledge that what they are doing is undermining democracy, but also punitive measure. If there are those, you know, I haven't seen many people who have been caught in the act that have faced, you know, the punishment of what they've done. So I think also the judiciary and the judicial process, if we have many of them that are caught in the act and disciplined and sometimes sent to jail, it will become a deterrent to those who want to do it. But it is appalling and it is condemnable, those who get involved in vote buying. When you sell your vote, you have sold your power. When you sell your vote, you have sold your future. When you offer to buy an individual vote, you're simply telling us that you don't have the qualities to lead. It's pure and simple.
So people living with disabilities still have challenges with our elections. For you, what more does INEC needs to do in this regard?
Well, this has been a very burning issue, Jumoke. One, INEC chairman.
Dr. Pele. Dr. J.K. Pele, can you hear me?
In terms of policy, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. In terms of policy, in terms of framework, in terms of materials, they remain the most inclusive institution. Where the rubber meets the road is what happens in the field. What happens during the election proper. Everything is done pre-election. Thank God these days they even have the data. Everything is done pre-election. The problem is what happens during election. The deployment of assistive material, the deployment of braille, the deployment of large print posters, the deployment of magnifying glasses. Most times you will go to the polling unit and you don't see those material. And sometimes when you see them, those who are who are supposed to administer the usage don't know what to do. So training of staff, the electoral staff, is very, very important, you know. And of course, continuous sensitization of persons with disability to know what to do. For instance, we know there's priority voting, but not too many of them know that. And we must continue to sensitize them, you know. I mean, I want to use this opportunity, and I always like to take advantage of opportunities like this. Your station has been partnering with us, and I want to ask that we continue this partnership to sensitize persons with disability to get involved in the electoral process. I think also it's important because, you know, the president needs to also show us and give us that sense of belonging by making appointments of persons with disability either in the cabinet or in very sensitive position that would showcase them as role model. You know, these are some of the things that will help in making sure that we have a truly inclusive electoral either process or outcome.
All right, so, I mean, you mentioned punishment as one of the punitive measures to curbing vote buying in Nigeria. But why do you think the establishment of Electoral Offences Commission has been an issue for the past 13 years thereabouts?
Because corrupt politicians knows that that will be their waterloo. They know that such organization, such institution will easily track them and send them to jail if we have the right people, you know. And so I have no idea why that institution cannot see the light of the day. So there is a deliberate attempt by corrupt politicians, by those who don't want to see a true democratic dividend. They don't want to see that they are that punitive organ that can hold them accountable and responsible for the things that they do. You know, and we will keep pushing. There is strong advocacy to keep pushing for that institution to see the light of the day, and we will keep doing that until it's done, you know.
All right. So as we round off tonight, what more reforms do you think should be done to make elections in Nigeria more credible?
First of all, you know, and that there's been a lot of reforms and no implementation, you know. Well, some of those reforms are moribund. Some of them are very cogent, they are very up to date, you know. But we need to further interrogate the process, take it into consideration. Some of the things that we have seen today, this year, that we never saw 2 years ago, 1 year ago, you know. And so, one, I think a lot more needs to be done around INEC. INEC needs to be unbundled. I think it's too big and just too big for the kind of responsibility that is given. I think also there's a need for the law, all the electoral laws that we know are not favorable to delivering good democratic governance. Those laws to be repealed and replaced with laws that we know will enhance democratic value. You know, I also want to say that political parties have a role to play here in the reforms, both their internal democracy and inclusion of women, youth, persons with disability. You know, we are pushing for electoral reforms, and the good thing about our advocacy is that inclusion is at the center stage of the reforms that we're pushing. I am one of those who believe that there has to be a reform process here.
Right. Dr. J. Kepele, policy development and advocacy expert and founder, CEO of TAF Africa. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, despite how busy it looks for you. Thank you so much for your perspective on the show.
Thank you so much. My apologies.
Conversation with you. Thank you.
Yes, my apologies. My apologies with the airline delays and all that. But
it's okay. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and a safe flight. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
And thanks a lot for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Please have a great weekend.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you see me?
It's got my name on the cup.
Hi, Africa Magic. I would like to say happy birthday.
Congratulations to Africa Magic.
20 is a lot.
I was shocked that it's only 20 years.
For telling stories of passion.
Thank you for inclusion. Thank you for training me and raising me. Thanks for nurturing stars.
Today, if we are loved and celebrated around the world, Africa Magic has played a key role in that.
Happy birthday, Africa Magic.
To the best of them all, we love you.
Congratulations from Bright Easy Birubu, Badman Ball, Dream Baby Hustler, Allah, Jimmy the Long Gone. Champagne.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Are you worried about the safety and security of your home at night? Do you wish to know when intruders come close to your home? Or do you want to protect what matters to your family from anywhere at any time? What if there was a convenient, affordable way to keep surveillance on your home without having to worry about wires, installations, or heavy light bills? Introducing the incredible Sidebulb HD Cam, the robotic 360-degree two-way torque camera with action tracking technology. Sidebulb is the ultimate solution for discreet and powerful surveillance. It's so easy to install, and the app lets you rotate and view the video from your Sidebulb in real time from any smartphone. You can drop in from anywhere and check in with our two-way talk technology. Talk and listen at the same time.
Hello, Mommy.
Hey, sweetie. I'll be home soon, okay?
Sidebulb's advanced tracking technology locks onto motion and tracks in real time. Set the siren alarm to go up when motion is detected and keep intruders away. Check in on your home while you're away. Make sure the kids got home safely. Interact with visitors at your doorway or surprise a trespasser.
Surveillance in a light bulb. I was amazed at the 360-degree rotation. It gives me a full view of my house and I can check in on my kids. The footage is clear and the night vision is so impressive. The best part, I can add multiple sidebulbs for a complete home surveillance.
I really like my Sidebulb. It's so easy to use. I just downloaded the app, I put it on my phone, and I add it up and run in about 3 minutes.
Traditional surveillance systems are bulky, expensive, and difficult to install. But with Sidebulb HD Cam's innovative design, installation is as fast as changing a light bulb, and it's